January transfer window is going to slam shut in just a few days.
Yeah.
And the Standard is absolutely overflowing with rumors.
It is, yeah. It's
wild out there.
It's that time, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can practically feel the tension
Oh, yeah.
radiating from these clubs, I think.
Sure.
We're going to dig deep today.
Absolutely.
Beyond the headlines.
Yeah.
So you'll understand not just who's going where, but what it all means
Exactly.
for the rest of the season.
It's all about context.
Isn't it?
Okay.
Okay, let's kick things off with Arsenal.
All right.
They're making some aggressive plays this window, especially when you look at their pursuit of Benjamin Sesko, Andy, Matheus Cunha.
Yeah.
It seems like Arteta is determined to bolster that attack.
Yeah. Two big names, and
Yeah.
it would be a real statement of intent, wouldn't it?
I mean, is it a sign of confidence or is it desperation?
Well, I think bringing in both Sesko, the young Slovenian striker who's been drawing those Highline comparisons,
Right.
and Cunha, the versatile forward from Atletico.
It suggests that Arsenal are not content with just being in the race. They want to win it,
Right.
but
Wouldn't two big signings like that kind of disrupt the team's chemistry, though?
it's a risk.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, they've been playing so well together this season.
Yeah, they have. And that is the gamble that Arteta is taking, right?
Yeah.
He's betting that the upside of these players
Right.
outweighs that risk of disrupting the balance of the squad.
It's a high-stakes wager for sure.
It is. It is high stakes, but if it comes off,
Yeah.
they could be unstoppable.
And they're locked in a tug-of-war with Manchester City over teenage midfielder Sver Naipan.
Yes,
And this seems to be a bit of a trend right now.
it does, yeah.
We're seeing Arsenal and City vying for the same young talent.
I think both clubs are prioritizing that long-term success,
Okay.
investing in youth and, Naipan with his dynamic midfield presence.
At Rosenborg.
At Rosenborg, yeah, he fits the bill perfectly.
So who has the upper hand here? I think it's anyone's game at the moment, but I think the deciding factor
Yeah,
might be which club can offer a clearer path to first-team football.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Then there's Nico Williams,
Oh, yes.
the Spanish winger with the blazing speed.
Okay.
Both Arsenal and Tottenham are reportedly ready to trigger his release clause.
Wow.
Now, I'm not an expert in contract jargon.
Okay.
What exactly does that mean, and what factors could sway Williams' decision?
So a release clause is basically a set price
Okay.
written into a player's contract, which allows another club to buy them out,
Right.
regardless of their current team's wishes.
Oh, wow.
So he has a tough choice to make.
Yes.
Stay in familiar territory with Athletic Bilbao or jump into that Premier League spotlight.
And what do you think is going to sway him? I mean, is it just money?
I think the financial incentive is likely similar.
Okay.
So things like playing time,
Right.
the manager's style,
Right.
and the overall project each club presents will be key.
So it's really about the whole package.
Yeah.
All right. Let's shift gears over to Manchester United.
Okay.
They're in the midst of this whole saga with Patrick Dorgu,
Yes.
the young defender from Lecce. They've reportedly submitted a third bid,
Oh, wait.
close to the asking price. And Italian sources are saying the deal could be announced any minute now.
Really?
What's the urgency here? Why are they so fixated on Dorgu?
Well, if we look at Man U's recent performances,
Yeah.
those defensive vulnerabilities are glaring.
Yeah.
They're leaking goals, and it's costing them points.
Big time.
So Dorgu represents a solution,
Okay.
a young, promising center back with the potential to solidify that back line.
Right.
So they're willing to spend big because they see him as a long-term investment.
Makes sense, but then isn't there also the Alvaro Carrera situation?
Oh, yes.
He's a former player now shining at Benfica, and they have a buyback clause.
They do.
So does that mean that they're not fully convinced by Dorgu?
Potentially, or it could just be shrewd business,
Okay.
having a backup plan.
So they're being smart. And speaking of smart moves, they also managed to snag young defender Aiden Heaven right out from under Arsenal's nose.
Oh,
Ouch.
It's gotta hurt.
It seems like they're putting a lot of emphasis on building for the future
Yeah.
with these young defensive signings, but what does this tell us about their current strategy?
Yeah.
I mean, are they sacrificing immediate results for those long-term gains?
Well, it's a balancing act, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're addressing a weakness,
Right.
but also investing in players who could be key figures,
Yeah.
for years to come.
Yeah.
But it does raise questions about their immediate ambitions.
Yeah, sure.
Are they content with a top 4 finish this season, or are they secretly aiming for something more?
It's a puzzle.
It is.
Then there's the Casemiro situation, and this one really threw me.
Oh, yeah.
Roma has approached them about a loan deal
Okay.
for the star midfielder, and apparently Man U is open to it, although they would prefer a permanent transfer because of his high wages.
Makes sense, yeah.
This seems completely out of left field. Why would they let go of a world-class player like Casemiro, especially after just signing him last summer?
Well, there are a few possible scenarios here.
Okay.
Perhaps they have concerns about his long-term fit
Right.
in the squad. Or maybe Ten Hag has a different tactical vision
Okay.
that doesn't quite utilize Casemiro's strengths to the fullest.
Okay.
The financial aspect is crucial as well.
Yeah.
Offloading his wages could free up significant funds for other targets.
Right.
It's a bold move.
It is.
And it suggests that Man U is undergoing a significant reshuffle behind the scenes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like they're playing 4D chess over there, and we're all just trying to keep up.
Right.
But before we get lost in the Manchester United midfield maze,
Okay.
there's another club that seems to be sending some mixed signals.
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Okay.
They're on the hunt for a new winger
They are.
with names like Alejandro Garnacho from Man U, Jamie Gittins from Dortmund, and yet again, Nico Williams
He's popular.
swirling around.
Yeah.
So these are all exciting young talents, but you mentioned earlier that these deals would be tough to pull off.
Yeah.
What are the roadblocks here?
Well, I think it comes down to a few things.
Okay.
First, you've got competition.
Of course.
These players are in demand.
Yeah.
Attracting interest from multiple top clubs. So Chelsea's not the only one at the table.
Right.
Second, there's the question of each player's current situation.
Yeah.
Okay, Garnacho is rising through the ranks at Man U.
Right.
Gittins is finding his feet at Dortmund.
Yeah.
And Williams seems pretty content at Bilbao.
So you've got to make it worth their while.
Exactly. Convincing any of them to move requires a very compelling pitch.
Yeah.
And that's where things get tricky.
So it's not just about the money, it's about the opportunity, the playing time, and the whole vision.
The whole package.
Out of those three, though, who do you think Chelsea has the best chance of actually landing?
I think Garnacho's situation is particularly interesting, especially when you consider all the recent criticism of Marcus Rashford.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Paul Scholes, a legend at Old Trafford,
Right.
didn't mince his words, saying Rashford's clearly not training properly
Oh,
and is letting his teammates down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those were pretty brutal.
They were.
Do you think there's any truth to it?
It's hard to say for sure,
Yeah.
but there's definitely smoke there.
Right.
Chelsea's interest in Garnacho, coupled with Barcelona's reported interest in taking Rashford on loan,
Oh, wow.
suggests there might be some internal turmoil at Man U.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So Chelsea could potentially capitalize on this and swoop in for Garnacho.
possibly. Yeah.
But then if Rashford does leave even temporarily, wouldn't Man U need a replacement?
Absolutely. And they've been linked with Christopher Nkunku,
Oh, yeah.
the French forward, who's been on fire for RB Leipzig.
Okay.
He's a versatile attacker
Right.
with a proven track record.
Yeah, he would be a huge addition to the Premier League.
Oh, yeah.
And it would definitely shake things up a bit.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, but let's not forget about the other winger targets, Gittins and Williams.
Right.
What are Chelsea's chances of securing either one of those deals?
Well, Gittins is an interesting prospect.
Yeah.
He's raw,
Right.
but incredibly talented.
Okay.
And Dortmund has a reputation for developing young stars.
Yeah.
So it would take a substantial offer to pry him away.
Okay.
And even then, there's no guarantee he'd choose Chelsea over other suitors.
And what about Williams? I mean, we talked about the competition already.
did.
It seems like every top club is interested in him.
Well, the release clause kind of simplifies things on one hand.
Right.
There's no need to negotiate with Bilbao.
Right.
But it also means any club willing to pay the price can enter the race.
So it's a free-for-all?
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah,
So it all comes down to Williams and what he wants.
exactly. You know, his personal ambitions and what he sees as the best path for his career.
All right, before we completely forget about them,
Okay.
let's check in on Tottenham. They're having a really rough season,
Yeah,
and fans are desperate for some new signings.
they are.
But so far, they've been pretty quiet in this transfer window.
Yeah.
They've been linked with Angel Gomes and Tyler Dibbling, but those seem like more summer targets.
Right.
Are they being too passive?
It's a risky strategy.
Yeah,
Waiting until the last minute can backfire,
for sure.
especially if other clubs swoop in and snatch up their targets.
But they could also be playing the waiting game,
They could, yeah.
assessing their options,
exactly.
waiting for the right opportunity.
Exactly.
So it's a gamble either way.
It is.
But their lack of activity so far is a bit concerning.
Yeah.
Considering how badly they need to turn things around.
Yeah, their attack is overly reliant on Harry Kane.
Right.
They need to bring in someone who can share that goal-scoring burden
Right.
and provide a spark,
Yeah.
whether it's Gums or Dibbling or someone else entirely.
Yeah.
They need to make a move soon
Okay.
if they want to salvage this season.
All right. We've covered a lot of ground here.
We have?
But there's one final piece of this transfer puzzle that we need to address.
Right.
Chelsea's pursuit of John Duran.
Oh, yes.
Now, this one involves Aston Villa and potentially even Joe Felix.
It's a bit of a transfer merry-go-round.
Okay.
So Aston Villa is interested in Chelsea's Axel Disasi,
Right.
but they might need to sell Duran to fund a move for João Felix.
Okay.
And here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Chelsea has been linked with Duran in the past.
So this could be a potential swap deal.
It's a possibility.
Wow. So Aston Villa gets Felix, Chelsea gets Duran, and everyone's happy.
Potentially. Yeah.
That's wild.
These types of multi-club deals are becoming increasingly common.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Clubs are getting creative.
So it's not just about buying players anymore. It's about maneuvering,
Yeah.
strategizing.
And finding those win-win scenarios.
This is what makes the transfer window so unpredictable
Absolutely.
and exciting.
Yeah. You never know what twists and turns are going to happen next.
Yeah. It's not over yet.
No.
There are still a few days left for these clubs to make their moves.
A few days.
We'll be keeping a close eye on all the developments, and we'll be back
We will.
to break down the final deals and what they mean for the rest of the season.
Can't wait.
We've been dissecting this transfer window from every angle,
We have.
and it's clear these clubs are playing for keeps.
Yeah. They're not just making moves, are they?
No, they're making statements.
It's all about sending a message.
Exactly. But as we head into the final hours, the big question is, who's going to come out on top?
It's a high-stakes game, isn't it?
It is.
And the pressure's mounting.
Yeah.
Some clubs are showing real ambition,
Yeah.
While others seem to be faltering a bit.
Yeah, let's take a step back
Okay.
and try to connect all the dots.
Right.
We talked about Arsenal's aggressive pursuit of those attacking reinforcements,
Yeah.
their tug of war with Man City over young talent,
Right.
and their willingness to trigger release clauses.
Yeah, they're not messing around.
So what does this tell us about their overall strategy?
Well, I think Arsenal is clearly playing the long game.
Okay.
They're building a squad that can compete for trophies.
Right.
Now and in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not afraid to spend money.
Right.
But they're also being strategic.
Okay.
Targeting players who fit Arteta's system
Right.
and who have the potential to grow.
So they're sending a message to the rest of the league.
They are. They're saying Arsenal is back
Yeah.
and they're here to stay.
And then you've got Manchester United.
Yeah.
It feels like they're constantly...
In flux,
Yeah.
trying to find their identity.
Exactly. They're strengthening their defense, potentially offloading a key midfielder,
Right.
and facing uncertainty with one of their star attackers.
It's a period of transition for them,
Yeah.
for sure.
What's the end game here?
There are a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
They're addressing those defensive frailties.
Which is good.
Yeah, that's a positive sign. But the potential departure of Casemiro
Right.
raises questions about their midfield stability
For sure.
and the Rashford situation.
Yeah.
It
It's a cloud hanging over them.
is.
Yeah.
They need to make some decisive moves in these final days to clarify their direction
Right.
and send a message of confidence to their fans.
Okay. And then there's Chelsea.
Yeah,
Their transfer activity is another intriguing story.
it is.
On the hunt for a winger,
Yeah,
linked with some of the most exciting young talents in Europe.
it's ambitious,
It is.
for sure.
But they're facing stiff competition, and these deals are far from straightforward.
No,
Are they being too ambitious, or are they just being bold?
I think Chelsea's ambition is undeniable.
Yeah.
They're willing to go after the best players regardless of the challenges.
But can they turn this ambition into results?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is.
Landing a top-class winger would be huge for them,
Right.
but it's a gamble.
Yeah.
They need to be careful not to overpay or disrupt the squad dynamics.
And then you have Tottenham, who seem to be lagging behind their rivals in terms of transfer activity.
They're quiet.
They are, and it's concerning, especially given their current struggles.
Yeah, they desperately need reinforcements,
Yeah.
but they seem hesitant to pull the trigger.
Are they being too cautious?
It's a risk.
It is.
Perhaps they're waiting for the right opportunity.
Right.
Or maybe they're facing financial constraints.
Could be.
Whatever the reason, they need to act fast
Yeah.
if they want to turn things around.
So we've got 4 clubs,
4 big clubs
each with their own ambitions, strategies.
and challenges.
As this transfer window slams shut, Which club do you think is playing their cards right?
It's a tough call.
It is.
Arsenal's proactive approach is admirable,
Yeah.
and they seem to be building something special.
Yeah.
But Man U's potential shakeup
Right.
could pay off if they make the right moves.
Right.
Chelsea's ambition is exciting,
It is.
but their gamble might not pay off.
Yeah.
And Tottenham's passivity
Right.
could prove costly.
It's going to be fascinating to watch it all unfold.
It is.
But one thing's for sure, this transfer window has been a roller coaster ride.
It has, yeah, full of twists and turns and surprises.
And it's not over yet.
Not yet.
There's still time for a last-minute scramble.
Right.
A shock signing.
A deal that changes everything.
That's the beauty of it.
It is unpredictable.
And that's what keeps us all on the edge of our seats.
Absolutely.
So as we head into these final hours,
Right.
we'll be watching closely, analyzing every move, dissecting every deal.
Every single one.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive, exploring the fallout from this transfer frenzy and what it all means for the future of the Premier League. Until then, keep your eyes on the headlines, stay informed, and get ready for the next chapter in this ever-evolving story.